There objectively is no South Pole. There is no such thing as a South magnetic pole compass. There is no analog instrument that measures the South magnetic pole. This is a star chart for the Southern Hemisphere. The same star charts have been used for over 2,000 years. Never changed, because we don't live in an expanding universe, because that would mean the stars would change. And they are time itself, created from the fixed point source charge in the center that creates the toroidal field, which we live inside of. Your compass measures the concentric semicircles and circles from that fixed point. You see a star in the center of this map? No, because there isn't one. Do you see a star in the center of this map called Polaris? Yes, because there is one.
That you don't believe in.
Nah, I don't believe in space. I'm unrelated, so I think like we're in the wrong right now. I don't think there's like other planets and other stuff like that. I don't know.
What led you to that point to believe that?
Well, like I thought you should believe like the heliocentric thing, like he's around the sun and stuff. But then like I started seeing like flat Earth stuff, and I was like, yeah, this is kind of interesting. And they start bringing up valid points. So, I mean, I don't know. Could be real. You know what I'm saying?
This is what NASA show us on the television. But this is how things are really made. Entire studios, rooms, and ISS mock-ups are built to deceive us into believing in space, NASA, lying to humanity since 1958.
Oh, I get it. I totally get it now. Earth is traveling through space inside a giant pressurized airplane.
The Earth's round. No, it's not. It's flat. So they got these fiber optic cables that run in the ground, right? That they're talking about chopping, which will kill all of our Wi-Fi. Billionaires are building bunkers in the ground. Billionaires. If space was so fucking real, why wouldn't they go hide on the fucking moon in their luxury place that they built there? Why are they building it here? Underground. I don't know, man. What do you believe anymore? So if they cut off all of our satellites and we now have no communications whatsoever, what's the military going to use? Oh, they have their own internet. Well, if there's no satellites in the sky and they cut all the wires that run it, then it's probably not going to work, correct? I don't know. I could be wrong. Who the f*** am I, right? All I know is if I had $1 billion and the world was going to shit, I'd leave this planet. But you don't seem to can you?
Atmosphere. Atmosphere? Yeah. So do you believe that sphere-shaped air is something we experience?
Why don't you explain to me what you perceive it to be?
It's your word. You said atmosphere. What do you think that means?
That is the amount of gases that are held within the Earth by gravity.
Held? Gravity doesn't hold anything. It's not a force. There's no scientific evidence of gravity.
Really?
Middle of the statement. Middle of the statement. I have. Obviously, it's me being a dick, wanting to make a false statement, contradicting you. Obviously, that's me being a dick. No, there is no force of gravity. My bad, still in the middle of the same sentence. Obviously, this is me being a dick. Maybe this is me interrupting you. The gravity's not a force.
What you've been doing the whole show.
My bad, that's the fourth attempt. Gravity's not a force to hold gas in a sphere shape. Gravity is the bending of a conceptual medium known as pseudo-Riemannian force space-time derived in the mind's eye of Einstein in mathematics. It's a fourth-dimensional geometry. Meanwhile, in reality, we live in a three-dimensional Euclidean reality. There is no dimension of time to bend. Even if we could bend time as a dimension in a Euclidean four-space geometry, it wouldn't be a container for gas. Gas isn't held by pseudo-Riemannian force space-time bending in an Einsteinian gravitational dimension. Further to that, the notion that gas being held, i.e. gravity is a force, was debunked by Einstein 108 years ago. Mass does not attract mass, that's a Newtonian concept of gas. Pressure being held because of its weight going down towards the centre of Earth. That was superseded 108 years ago by Einstein when he developed the fourth-dimensional space-time bending, which is not a force and is definitely not a container to hold gas in a sphere shape. So your oxymoron, sphere-shaped air, is merely a begging the question fallacy to allow you to describe atmospheric conditions as based on an R value, a sphere value, the radius of Earth being the value that derives your refraction rate at 7/6 of the radius in sphere-shaped air. Atmo, air, sphere, a shape. Air doesn't take the shape of the sphere, it takes the shape of its containment. If the gas was in a sky vacuum, we'd have none to breathe. We'd all be dead. As gas fills space. Gravity's not a force. Bending fourth-dimensional space-time doesn't hold it in a container.
An historic moment in lunar exploration, a U.S.-made spacecraft landing on the moon for the first time in more than 50 years.
Odysseus landing on the moon! What an amazing accomplishment. I mean, I am just so amazed. It makes me want to actually cry. The achievement that we made. If you actually truly believe this happened, wink wink. I will let you decide for yourselves what you choose to believe in when it comes to this. Maybe this is what caused AT&T's outages. I don't know. You put two and two together and you tell me what you think about all of this. But do you honestly think that they took this to the moon?
AJ, what's happening? AJ says, so if the Earth is flat, then where is Antarctica on the other side? This, my friend, is an azimuthal equidistance map, also known as the Flat Earth map. So you can see all the continents hanging out. You got the beautiful USA right there. You got South America. You got Australia over here. You got all the continents hanging out. You got the North Pole right in the very center. And all the way around, you got the Antarctic ice wall. There's not an edge that you're falling off.
Okay, Globe Wizard says, where is the edge? If you fall off, what happens? Missing person. Okay, so this is biblical cosmology right here. The flat earth, you got the firmament overhead. So most people think the flat earth is just a round disc and you can fall off the edge. This is not what we believe. We believe what we live on is a flat plane like this. And then above it, you've got the firmament. Same thing, it just runs in parallel. So you have the physical realm down here that we live on and the spiritual realm above us. They're like two parallel lines and they run parallel with each other.
Plenty of pictures of Earth that aren't CGI, my dude. Plenty of them. Oh, really? Show me one. I challenge you. Explain how satellites work if we have a flat Earth. Easy! Undersea cables. Did you know that undersea cables are responsible for 99% of the world's internet communication? We also have ground-based towers, cell phone towers, that transmit our cell phone signals when we're within cities. That's why when you go out camping in the mountains, there's always dead spots. Always. if you're in the mountains. If we had hundreds of thousands of satellites circling the Earth all the time, it wouldn't matter if you were in the mountains. You would get some signal eventually. It wouldn't just be a dead spot constantly all the time. How do compasses work? Okay, this is one of my favorite questions. So with flat Earth at the north, so this is a really old map. It's in 1595 Mercator map of the north. They destroyed a whole bunch of these and they don't want the truth to get out about the north. But apparently there's a massive chunk of land in the north. You can see Canada's over here. We got Greenland. Russia's on the far side. Europe's over there. And in the middle, there's this big old chunk of land. And in the middle, there's a huge whirlpool spinning around with 4 rivers coming out, northeast, south, and west. And in the middle, I don't know if you can see that, but there's a massive magnetic mountain. I forget the name of it, but anyways, the entire mountain is solid magnet. And anywhere you stand on the flat, infinitely extending plane, doesn't matter where you are, your compass needle is always going to point towards that mountain. Referred to as Mount Zion in the Bible, God's mountain. Anyways, there's lots of creatures too. Like there's lots of animals that know inherently where that mountain is. They know which direction north is. Cattle know which direction north is. They always stand facing north a lot of the times. Orcas, killer whales, they know which direction. Any migratory animal, they all know which direction north is. The funny thing is, a lot of migratory animals that go into the far north, like orcas, Canada geese, those kinds of creatures, if you look up their migration routes, they mysteriously just cut off around Alaska. My theory about that is the truth is a lot of these animals are swimming or flying to these regions, these land masses here and this water here. They're going into this northern region. Just a theory, I don't know. But anyways, another part of this is in the north, there is a no-fly zone where no aircraft are allowed to fly beyond a certain parallel. I forget what it is, but it just happens to be right around where this landmass would be. And they tell you, oh, it's too dangerous to fly over the north, blah, 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 which is a bunch of crap, in my opinion. But anyways, yeah, that's how compasses work. They point at that magnetic mountain. I love this comment, and I gotta do a video on it. I don't know if your username is Shaylee or Sheel. Shaylee sounds cool. Anyways, the comment is, NASA's funding is disgusting, but their BS videos, water tanks, scuba gear, wires for the dumb flips they fake. It's so lame, it makes me belly laugh. Yeah, me too. I like calling them the fakery bakery, as Seven Club calls them. He's another guy who, he just is famous for exposing all the NASA lies. Anyways, oh, did you know, by the way, that NASA in Hebrew means to deceive? Nasa. Hilarious. Super funny. You can look up all the stuff, all you guys, globe, flat earth believer, whatever you are, on the fence in the middle, not, you don't subscribe to either model. Go and look up this stuff. It's hilarious. I mean, zoom in on the lunar lander. You know, it's obviously made of tinfoil and duct tape. You can see that they do all their videos and training for the space stuff underwater in Houston, Texas. They've got, you know, piles of Hollywood studios. They use green screens there. They're one of the biggest purchasers for actor and actress harnesses. Da, da, da. So much stuff doesn't add up with NASA. Anyways, oh, and their budget is billions of dollars, which we're paying for. Pfft, terrible. Imagine all the good stuff we could do with that money if they weren't doing their fakery bakery stuff. Yo, J-Swag Games. Rock. What is there possibly to gain from lying about the shape of the earth? Well, it's a spiritual battle for your soul. There's God and his kingdom of light and truth and love. And there's Satan's realm and kingdom of darkness and death and lies and deceit. So Satan is ruling this physical realm that we're on right here, and he is trying to keep you deceived so that he can keep you separated from rediscovering God and reconciling with God and having you follow God and join his kingdom. That's the whole point of your life here on earth. You have a physical body, but you are a spiritual being. You have a soul, you have a spirit, you are a child of God. And your whole point of being here on earth is to reconcile with God, rejoin his kingdom of love and truth and righteousness and goodness. And Satan wants to keep you distracted by all his lies so that you will not rediscover God and his wonderful kingdom of truth. That is what Satan has to gain about lying to you about the shape of the earth. It's just a small part of it, but it's all working together. I know nothing will convince you. I don't know why I bother. This is a really important point to discuss. When you're having a debate or a discussion over any topic, really, it doesn't have to be globe earth versus flat earth. It can be any discussion or any topic where two people, they believe different things and they want to have a discussion about it. It's super important that you're open-minded. If one person or both people are super close-minded and they're really stubborn about what they believe and they are not willing to look at a different perspective and entertain the idea that they might be wrong on a certain point, then it's not feasible to have a good conversation, and you're not going to make any ground about learning anything new or anything, because the person's they're like a rock wall or a stubborn horse. They don't want to go when you're trying to pull them or you're trying to get them to turn around and look at something. So stay open-minded, my friends. Let's not totally get all stubborn and block-headed. Let's be open to, entertaining different ideas and examining them and holding them up to the scientific method, where we go out and we do real-world experiments that are repeatable and we get the same conclusions every time. That's how we get scientific fact.
96. It's a big boy. So I got two big guests. Big names, big bodies.
Huge.
I don't even know if I introduce you to. You got Rampage the Legend Jackson here. You got Bradley. Meet me at 260 Martin.
How much you weigh right now?
Why people care if people believe in the earth the way the Bible describes it? Why do people get so mad about that?
Does the Bible describe it as flat?
Yeah.
It does?
With the dome, the firmament, and everything.
Oh, that's news to me.
That's new. You never read the Bible?
No.
That's the problem.
That is a problem. That's why I go to hell.
So why do people get mad at people if they just describe the earth the way the oldest history book describes it?
Yeah. So does this mean you think it's flat?
Yep.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
But what were you gonna say about?
This is what changed me when I looked into emergency landings. Something simple as that. That's what changed me to go more to like, oh yeah. Then I went to the Bible and started reading with the Bible. And, I used to be a Christian, so I was like, oh, I've read this stuff before, but we think of it different. I went there. Now I look at the Old Testament like a history book, and so I went and read it and like a history book. I was like, oh, okay, it broke everything down for me. But if you look into whenever you have time, just look into emergency landings.
What do you mean by emergency landing?
Like when say somebody's flying from Asia coming to LA, and like if it's an emergency or something, and then see like the way they land, and then you gonna think like, wow, that's not an emergency land. They went all the way out the way, and then you got to break down why did they do that? Why they go all the way out the way, and they say it's an emergency landing. That's what changed my mind.
Why would they go all the way?
Exactly. That's the point.
Exactly.
But why would that prove that the earth is flat if you go out of the way?
Because if it was an emergency, a real emergency, wouldn't you go somewhere closer?
When you go somewhere closer?
And not somewhere out of the way?
When we see the emergency landing on the globe, it don't make sense.
Oh, because it's like this.
Yeah, so it's farther away.
Yeah.
So common sense would tell me that we're being lied to about the geography of our things.
Why lie to us about the earth being round, though?
That's the big question.
Don't waste any more time. Visit the links above now and order my book, 16 Emergency Landings Proving Flat Earth. Visit my online store now and order the new enhanced Gleason's Flat Earth map. This map used to be in every school and library in the nation before NASA was created in 1958, when the maps were ordered removed. Have your Gleason's map hanging on the wall in your house where no government can take it down. Here you see it hanging on a wall in the house of the late Charles K. Johnson. Here is a quote from the book 1984 by George Orwell. Every record has been destroyed or falsified, every book rewritten, every picture has been repainted, every statue and street building has been renamed, every date has been altered, and the process is continuing day by day and minute by minute. History has stopped. Order your map now.